Hello, Beyond Logos community, and happy Friday. Today, I have some fun topics and conversations that I want to address with some of the question submissions from our members here. Let me dive into the list here. I have a question from Saya, who has a podcast. One of his questions that we didn't get to answer in the previous session was that he wanted to ask, how do you develop Instagram posts for podcast episodes and also networking? So, Sai, let me give you some insight on this and what that could potentially look like. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me answer the first question, which is, how do you develop Instagram posts for podcast episode and also networking? Okay. So for the Instagram post side, what I like to do is I like to just kind of market research and see what other podcasters are doing, or I like to just draw inspirations to kind of see what people are into. So basically, how I do that is I just go to Pinterest and I just type in podcast social post, right? So what this does, Sai, is that it allows you to see how people are showing up with their podcast posts on Instagram, Facebook. Okay. And also it's gonna give you some ideas on how to show up visually too. Let's look at this one right here. I like the way this is looking. So how do you develop Instagram posts? You could definitely have three templates. The one template where you highlight the speaker, like kind of how this lady right here. You know how you can have a template where you're highlighting the speaker. Another template is where you're like, hey, check out our newest or latest episode, which, something like this, new episode out now. And the third one is where you promote a collaboration or you promote your podcast. Like, hey, listen to my podcast. This is what we talk about. So I love going to Pinterest just to kind of study and market research what other podcasts style, the way they do their templates. Okay. This is another great way. It's very raw, it's very fun and graffiti-esque. Um, and if you're wondering where do you find these templates, you can just simply go to Canva. And inside of Canva, there's a lot of free templates that you could just use and start utilizing that. Or if you get to a point where you're brand building, let's have a conversation where how I can help you build your own customizable templates as well. Because Canva, it is a free platform, so a lot of people might have the same visuals as you. But if you and I have an opportunity to work together, that can stand out a little bit different. So let's just dive into Canva to see if we can find any nice templates. Oh, not that one. Canva.com. Okay. So if I was to do an Instagram post, the square, let me see if there's any templates here. See, look at this. See, there's already some cool templates right here. I'm gonna put on podcasts. So keep in mind, I am a premium member, so I will have access to a lot more templates than you. But inside of Canva, again, the free version, you will be able to access some free templates for yourself as well. So let's just go to podcast posts, see what comes up. See, look at that. If I was to just click here, right, I could just do this new podcast host, how to engage with media. See, bam, beautiful. Okay. Let's do another one. Go down here to designs. Let's do a coming soon one, right? See, new podcast coming soon, January 30th, 25. See, look at that. How easy. We just did two really basic podcast posts to so that your brand can have these consistent visuals. These are a little consistent because of the neutral colors in the tan and the brown. So Canva has a lot of robust designs already. Let's go find one where we actually feature an artist. Like this one looks cool. Well, let's go add page and let's do this. I like this one. See? It's all neutral. So here, you can definitely just now remove these. So Canva does a lot of great stuff for podcast posting. Again, I love going to Pinterest to observe what other people are doing. So I recommend you doing that. If you don't have a Pinterest, feel free to use Google. It's always free, but then feel free to also use Canva to find like nice looking templates for you to use for your podcast posts. Okay. Let's see again. Make sure no one's checking in. Okay. Let's go to Google real quick to see what that could look like as well. So if I was just to go like, I don't know, podcast social media posts, images, and bam, here we go. See, you get a bunch of cool stuff as well. So click on that. You see that. Let's look at this one. See? So I like to just see what other people are doing. It seems like they have a lot of pictures and imagery and circles or shapes to highlight the presenter. But then again, check out Canva and check out Pinterest. Let me know if you have any questions. Post it in the comments or just DM me, okay? So let's jump over to the next question that I have here that I want to answer for. CK. Okay, this question is from Jenny from Jaspirations. So she says, branding can be so broad that it sometimes makes it hard to articulate my brand. Beautiful question. And that is a very common thing that a lot of people feel, which is like, how do you talk about your brand or your business? Because there's so many things that you do, especially if you are service-based business where you have so many things that you do, or product-based business as well, where like you sell a lot of products and items. So I want to teach you what I teach you. Well, I want to show you what I teach you inside of school. Okay. So inside of school, I give you the 6 steps to building your brand, and this is where you can start sounding very powerful and very grounded. So if you're worried about, sometimes it makes it hard to articulate your brand, it's so broad. The 6 brand building step keeps you grounded and directed. For example, if I was to ask you, hey Jen, so for example, here one of the members, Tong. If I was like, hey Tong, what do you do? Like, what's your job? He can say, oh, I'm a speaker. My mission, my purpose as a speaker is to making greatness encourage a reality for fallen students to feel uplifted. That's one way to talk about your business. Another way would be like, what if I'm like, okay, so if you do that, then how do you help the students? As you can see here, he already has this problem. He can say, oh yeah, this is how I help students. I help young students, they want to excel in their life, but they are constantly overwhelmed, right, by the pressure of society. So they feel afraid to navigate the failure. And how I help them is that he talks about his insight. I bring immersive workshops and strategies to help guide lost students to discover their own style of success. That still ties in nicely to your purpose. Okay. Fallen students feel uplifted. You're still talking about lost students, but then you're guiding them. Okay. And then they can say, okay, aside from your workshop, what do you do? Can you give me a brief description? And then you can say, I'm guiding students to navigate fear and adversity as a stepping stone to greatness by boosting courage for a better performance in life and academics. So when I hear life in academics as a counselor or coordinator, I know that Tong is the right person to bring on because he's going to talk about life in academics because I always want my students to be pushing academics as well. So when you talk about, you know, how can you talk about your brand and articulate it even though it's so broad? You need to have these 6 steps to articulate your brand in a way where it sounds consistent, where it does not matter. Okay. I want these 6 brand building steps to almost feel like a tool set where you can pick and choose when you talk about them. Because let's just say that if all you talk about is your insight in your service, guess what? They still fall under the same purpose. They still have the same impact and the same meaning, right? I want you to sound powerful in that way compared to you every time you talk to somebody else, you are making up a different story or you don't know how to articulate your product or your purpose, okay? So this is a service-based example, but for your products, you can easily say something like, I think we worked on it like, I'm making Hmong pattern I'm making Hmong traditional patterns accessible, or I'm making Hmong traditional patterns fashionable. That's a beautiful statement. I'm helping make Hmong traditions fashionable, right? Cultural designs fashionable. So that's how you talk about your brand without being so broad and all over the place. And again, all of that is done through the school community in the classroom, right? Where you build all of your purpose, your audience in here is all available in these classrooms. It just takes you to engage and level up. If you want to talk about how to level up faster and unlocking courses, let's connect because I want to help you get to that spot as well. This is why I created this space so you can brainstorm, talk about your brand and how to articulate. I think this is a perfect spot to do that. So let me know if you have any questions or any thoughts, okay? All right, let's jump on to this next one, which is um okay. I'm gonna do Amy Yang, who's a multi-creative. So her question was diversifying myself and trying to find my uniqueness amongst others. Okay, so diversifying yourself, trying to find your uniqueness amongst others. There's a lot more questions I want to ask you, Amy, meaning like, what do you mean by diversifying yourself and what about you is unique? In the community, I teach you in one of the exercise here where Ka Yoa does an amazing job, is where I have her list down her own identity, okay? Because I believe that a brand is an extension of who you are. Once you identify your own personality, we can take that into building your brand. Okay. Building your brand is not like a game character where it's entirely new. You can do that, but it's a lot harder. So I want to make it easy where let's just take parts and bits and pieces of you and transform that into a brand. That is where you are going to find your uniqueness amongst others because that's where you're going to find your true voice. For Kayoa, her personal voice is genuine, respect, considerate, friendly, and sympathy. So because we know that that's her, and I want her to feel authentic, I'm gonna take those and transform it into a brand so that when she does build her brand, it has these characteristics where it's not something made up, but it's really close tied to her. So that is how you find your uniqueness. And to explore this exercise and to do that is under school under the classroom, your brand foundations at level one, you should have already have unlocked, right? It's all under your brand personal goals, okay? And define your product service. So all of that is done in lesson one of the classroom, which is your brand foundation. So I want you to take a look at that, check that out, and see how that feels for you. And again, let's connect. Join the live weekly calls. So let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to DM me. And then you also mentioned diversifying yourself. So I don't really quite know what you mean by diversifying yourself, meaning are you talking about your talents, your skill sets, or you're talking about diversifying your business regarding like services and products? So let me know what you mean by that because I want to help you dive deeper into what that means, okay? Let's see here. And last question that I want to help answer is for um okay. Juan Rodriguez, who is a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, and broker. Wow, great stuff, Juan. I like it. Your question is conveying the brand value. Yes. So I want to show this example again. I'm gonna show all these fitness members the brand up. So the brand value, okay? The brand value is basically your insight and your purpose combined. Because the brand value is basically asking you, the client or the audience is asking you, what is it that you provide that is valuable? And the insight, it's the tangible thing that's valuable. The purpose is what gives it meaning. Okay. So your brand value is, so for Pete, he's a speaker. His brand value is this, is that he's redefining pain and self-mastery for young leaders to be courageous through radical change. Because how he does that is he's providing radical solutions and dedicated to redefine pain and self-mastery for young leaders through workshops, okay? Through workshops and networking and stuff. So the purpose and the insight, you combine those, that's how you get your brand value. Okay. And in order to even discover your brand value, it all goes back to what I was teaching Amy, where you need to find what are your values first. So if we were to look at Kayoa, right? Her values are family, health, thankfulness, sincerity, and integrity. So once you know your values, you can start slowly identifying what those mean for your brand. And then instead of the courses in strategy and purpose, right, in the brand personality, I teach you how to discover your values and how to transform that into statements like Pete's, right? And also statements like Kajoy here. A brand personality can also be value, meaning we are a team of courageous doers that provide joy and playful solutions for young leaders on their journey to self-mastery. That's also a brand value, right? These six beautiful steps, you choose which of these you want to best represent your brand value, and you pitch it and you promote it and you tell people. Because no matter which one you choose, it's gonna still represent your brand because they all have the same energy, the same write up, they're all cohesive and consistent. They all sound like they belong together in a story. Okay. So Juan, let me know if you have any questions on that, talking about conveying the brand value. I really want to help you discover what that looks like and what that means for you in your business. All right. So with that, I do have an announcement that I want to share is that we will be transitioning to a $35 monthly membership starting January 15th. So January 15th is the last day to transition. Non-members will be removed from the community and will not have access to the community anymore. But if you still want to stay, please join the link that I'm going to be putting here. Sign up the form so it allows me and my team to know that you are interested in transitioning so that we can get you enrolled after the 15th. Okay. So make sure to do that. I would love for you to stay so we can keep continue building your brand. Got that? All right. So with that, happy Friday and have a wonderful weekend.